one, maybe two slides. We'll see. We'll see how far we get. Just one that's interesting to me, and well, probably find it somewhat interesting. But it's about this car dealership, a Mercedes dealership in Berlin. Open the board here, and it's a building that I walked by many times and never realized that it was a dealership. I thought it was offices for Mercedes. And you can tell me if you think it's, when you see the building, during the daytime at least, when you see the building, it looks like an office building to me also. This is not like it's full screen, but okay. So this is what it looks like in the daytime. All right. But it looks like a ship, right? Looks like Noah's Ark. Okay. I don't know why it's going so slow. See there? It's got Mercedes-Benz on the sides. It's all glass and steel. This is going weird. And look here. Okay, from the side, looks like this. See? Does it look like a car dealership? Maybe it does to you. Does it really? Like this 4-story building? Oh, a ship. Yeah, not a dealership. I got you. Well, it is a dealership. It is where you can go to buy a car. But I walked by this thing probably a dozen times over the years and never, I just assumed it was a Mercedes dealership. And even though all the cars parked outside were newer model Mercedes cars, I just thought, well, they work for Mercedes. They should own a Mercedes because they probably get a good deal on it, you know? And maybe they get 0% financing or something, and they want them to drive Mercedes or make them affordable. I don't know, but it turns out the cars that I kept seeing outside were the cars you can buy. Like, I know, it sounds weird. I feel like kind of an idiot after someone told me and took me there and showed me that it was a really nice, really fancy dealership. So a couple more pictures of the outside, and then you'll see at nighttime when the lighting is different, when the lights are turned on inside, that kind of one-way glass, you know, you can now see into the building, and you'll see that it's really clear that it's not an office building, at least. See this at night. It's kind of cool, though, isn't it? With the lighting on it. It really does look like what I think Noah's Ark would look like. All right, enough of this. Let's look at this side. Yeah, here's all these cars parked out here, like perfectly, you know. Not even that tipped me off. I guess because the building just looks so strange. But then you get look at this picture at nighttime, straight on, and you can see that there's no offices in there. There's just these wide open levels, and it's hard to say. I mean, technically it's like a 4-story building, but it's weird the way it's laid out. It's really architecturally a pretty interesting building, but it's not. It is 4 stories high, but the way it's laid out, that's the thing that's different. I'll show you a picture here. I think it's coming up. No, I don't want to see more of that. Okay. No, we got it. We got it. I need to cut down the slideshow. Okay, here you go. So this is looking from the back of like at the back end, and this is pictures taken like from the 3rd floor. I say floor, and I'll tell you why I'm kind of stopping short of that. Somebody could try to get my thing here. Let me do it this way. I'll use the real laser pointer. So right here, about where that red dot is the entrance, okay? Where you come in. And if you want to, you can go kind of veer to the left when you come to the doors, and you're walking on an incline. And this is like a ramp, but it's a real like low grade ramp, you know. And there's cars. These cars are all for sale. I mean, these are the models you can look at and decide what you want. And so it goes around. It actually wraps around here, and it just keeps on like going. And there's like a 3rd floor, and then there's a 4th floor up here. You can like see all 4 floors. Like it's like a big swirl, you know. But they can literally drive the cars like they can open these doors up wider, and they just drive the car right up there, like right where they want it. Yeah, they want to drive up this floor, they just go, whoop, put it up here. There's brand new cars up here.
I went to a museum, a car museum in France, like the Sloop collection in, I forget where, but it's outside of Strasbourg somewhere.
Okay.
It's inside a giant textile mill. It used to be a textile mill.
And it was built like this?
Yeah, parts of it were, not all of it. Most of it was ground level. But.
Cool. That's a neat area too, where you see this car hanging here. There's a car hanging from the ceiling. There's these big cables, and it's got these two things, that underneath the front and back wheels. And yeah, they got a couple of these cars hanging around. But you'll notice there's cars down on the bottom level too, on the floor. Now, if you don't want to take if you don't want to walk all the way, you want to go to the fourth floor, you don't have to walk the ramp. They have an elevator, and they have escalators too, so you don't have to do it that way if you don't want to. And this is a rock climbing wall if you want to climb up there, I guess. Well, it's next to the thing here. You'll see in a minute, better picture. That's not the best way to get up there, though. Why do they have a rock climbing wall inside of a car dealership? Is that normal? I don't think so either. All right, so this is looking maybe from the third floor, maybe fourth floor actually, looking down, because there would be third, second, and then the bottom floor down there. You can it's kind of hard to see it, like it's hard to capture it in one picture. And then right here is another car suspended from the ceiling. Another Mercedes here. They're all Mercedes for the most part. There's one other kind of car I'll tell you about that's here too, but and then there's the rock climbing wall right there, and there's another one right here. But there were people in there climbing the building, like climbing inside. And I have to think they're not there to buy a car, but it's kind of a weird, I don't know, kind of not weird, but unusual marketing idea to have all this stuff. They've got a restaurant, or kind of a nice restaurant actually inside there. Then they have a more casual restaurant. And they've got a rock climbing wall, which you can come in and use, And then here's the nice restaurant here. That's the tables right there. I mean, like a fancy restaurant, And they got like a normal restaurant too. And then they have like a daycare thing, or like where they'll watch your kids for a while you mill around, look at cars, so the kids don't bother you. Now that part I understand. That would be maybe not such a bad sales idea. There's that car suspended there. It's kind of weird, but in the bottom floor, it looks like it would just roll right off and crush you. All right.
Do they have a crane inside of it?
They would have to have something to pull the car up there. So here you can drop your kids off. You want to go look at a car. By the way, you can walk in there and there's no salesman's going to meet you at the door and strong arm you to buy a car. Nobody talks to you at all. It's almost they assume that you're there just to see the spectacle of the whole thing. And if you want to buy a car, you'll find them. If you're there to buy a Mercedes, you're going to find a salesman. So they don't approach you real quickly and all this. They also have Mercedes go-karts in here and the go-kart track. You can drop your kids off here and they do all kinds of activities or whatever here. And they've got a miniature golf course and a go-kart track and some other playground stuff inside. Your kids can play. It's all supervised, and your kids can play and have fun while mom and dad look for a new car. All right, now that part of it sounds like maybe pretty smart. Get the kids out of the way, and take that off the parents, and then let the parents seriously look for a car. Good. Then they have part of the dealership I think it's up on the third floor, which is primarily kind of a museum, or I guess I'd say they have older Mercedes. They're not for sale though, but older. This is maybe I'm guessing a 50s model. I'm just guessing. S-Class, and then this looks more like a 70s model back here. It's kind of hard to see in that picture. But they have a lot of older ones, though, than this, too. And so they got information on that's all this information over here on the wall, and you can push a button on this thing here, and they'll talk to you and tell you about this car. And, okay, some of them are kind of... So that part, there's not about buying a car there. That's just about the history of Mercedes, and also the history of cars, and I'll tell you why in a minute, because Mercedes is pretty integral to the fact that we even have cars today. All right. And this is the big reason why because a guy by the name of Carl with a K, Carl Benz, invented the first car, the first workable car that was like a consistently, that really worked. And this is it, or this is a replica of the first car. And it's pretty basic. It's a three-wheel car, actually. There's a front wheel here, almost like on a bicycle, then two wheels in the back. It's got a one-cylinder engine, so like a motor, like a lawnmower engine, basically in the back here, and got a brake here, and you kind of turn this handle this way and this way to make it the wheels turn. And this was the first car, and Carl Benz, 1886, sorry, and they just called it in German Motorwagen. So Wagen was the word for wagon, but this has a motor on it, so Motorwagen. And even today, Germans say they say that word Wagen, meaning a car, even though it can mean wagon also. But yeah, one cylinder, single cylinder car. And there were other people working on, developing a car. There are a lot of other people working on it. Just that Carl Benz, I'm sorry, it's Carl with a C, I apologize. Carl Benz was the one who kind of perfected it and that it consistently worked. And I think they even sold these, actually, this early car. This is just a replica of the original. I'm sure the original is somewhere. But it's a pretty basic car. There's even literally like a bicycle chain back here that, it's going to keep these back wheels moving. But it's a car.
It's got a really weird drive because the crankshaft is mounted vertically.
Yeah, okay.
It goes to a set of bevel gears, where it goes to a belt, where it goes to a lay shaft, where it goes to a chain, where it goes to the rear axle.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
It seems complicated. I like this car here. Guys, I think you pick a girl up for a date in this car. This is a winner right here. I don't know.
340K?
This one, I don't know. I'm guessing it's a 1920s model, and it doesn't say in what I can read of the display in the background.
Because there's like the 540K, which is like Hitler had 3, I think.
Yeah, now, I thought his had 4 doors on them.
Yeah.
This one has 2, and it opens from see how it opens? It opens, yeah. Instead of the hinges being up towards the hood.
It's a suicide door.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
It opens the hinge. You can actually see the hinge right here. It kind of sticks out a little bit, or part of it. So the hinge actually sticks out from the car near the running board. I think it will take me a while to get used to that, opening a car like that. Anyway, that's the kind of car they have in the museum part of this whole thing. It gives you an idea about the history of Mercedes, all the way back to this first car. I don't know why I included a picture of a station wagon. I don't think any of you are in the market for a station wagon, probably. But
like an AMG wagon.
I think it is AMG. But if you had to have a station wagon, this one's not a bad one, though. This looks pretty nice. Pretty slick looking.
It's probably a shooting brake, as they call it.
I like that. Here's this Cabrio, convertible. Yeah, this is just one of the many cars of this huge place on the 4 floors that's available. And then they have this car. There's your AMG, or one of the AMGs. AMG GT, that's their, I don't know, a few years ago. 612 horsepower. There's not many people in the world that are really qualified to drive a car like this, I don't think. I'm just kidding. You're qualified, but that's a lot of power. 330 kilometers per hour top speed, and that's about 205 or so miles per hour. It doesn't look like an aerodynamic car as you look at it. It's low. It's more like a roadster looking kind of car, 2-seater, of course. But if you look at it, it doesn't really have the lines I'll show you some other cars that are more suited for that, but or seem to be more suited. I don't know enough about that, but it's a nice looking car though. It doesn't necessarily look like a high speed, high horsepower car, and there's the different color of it. I've only seen this one at the dealership. I've never seen one on the streets here. I don't know if I don't know if it's even street legal here. I don't know. It probably is, but you just can't drive as fast as it can go. That's true of a lot of German cars, but nice looking car. Well, this I showed this to another class earlier today, and it brought up a question. Let me say one more thing. Up on the fourth floor, there is another dealership, small, within the dealership, because Mercedes has a high-end luxury car, as if Mercedes really needed this, right? Like Honda has Acura, right? Nissan makes Infiniti. That's their high-end. Toyota has the high-end of Lexus. That's their thing. Mercedes, they got to have something, right? I mean, it seems like it, doesn't it? Thank you. Yeah. Well, not high-end enough, I guess. Oops, I lost my. Let's see here. They have this car. I'm gonna have to start. There we go. The Maybach. Maybach is actually an older. I'm not really sure if they've always been under the.
They used to make tractors and marine engines.
Yeah, well, that's true of a lot of car manufacturers. I mean, like they had other.
Yeah.
Like BMW had its own thing going on for a while too. Where is that it right there? No, that's the price list. First automobile. Where did I put that? Here we go. New Mercedes Maybach. Okay. Now this is the SUV. This is the GLS, I guess is the name of it. And it doesn't look like that special of a car. To me, it looks like a Ford Explorer or something, really, maybe fancier lines, but nothing really. But then you get in the inside. That's where the real work is here. Here's the back seat. I don't know. Look at this here. You can recline these seats back. See that? You got a little computer pad here between the two people. Don't worry, that's not going to hinder anybody from everything else. This looks like first class to me in a airplane, really. There's the Maybach logo. It's a double M. It's one tall M and one broad M underneath it. I'll show you a better picture of it, I think, in a minute. No, it's a traditional. It's got, that's a back seat. That's just only the back seats do that. Okay, they got to go through some stuff. Here's the little bit of the front seat, but you can't see much, but there you see this kind of sliding sunroof there on top. It's got kind of sections to it like that. I wish my computer wouldn't be so glitchy. Here's another angle from the back seat, which shows that each side's got their own television set here on the back of the thing. And of course, there's, I can't find a good one of the, let me go to the next picture here. A different color, different two-tone leather. There's the logo. You can see a little bit of the MM. So you got these screens. Now these screens, could have a movie or whatever playing them. They also can have your phone hook up to Bluetooth, so you can actually have 3 different phones hook up to 3 different. But the front seat has a screen like this too, between the driver and passenger, and you can hook, so you got 3 different Bluetooth capabilities, and then you have navigation on the front one, and also, well, radio and all that also, of course, and then I'm not really sure what this is in between, but it looks like an iPad or something, but there's that. Something else to play with, I'm sure. Maybe it could actually be the thermostat for the, partly that, because that's what's also in the front is this. Now, this is something that probably would not be allowed, and if there was an American version of the car, and that is that they have, this is in the back seat, in between the two car, is a thing that folds out that is strictly, look at it, it is made to hold wine glasses. Like you couldn't throw this is designed to hold 2 wine glasses, okay, in the back seat. This, of course, wouldn't fly because really anything that a passenger in the back could be holding is considered by the law to be within the reach of the driver. So I can't be drinking a glass of wine and driving, and then when a cop pulls me over, hand it to somebody in the back seat and say, "Oh, it's not mine, it's his," That doesn't work. If you have an open container that you've sealed back up again, you have to put it in the trunk or someplace out of reach of the driver. But in Germany, they're a little more lax about this kind of stuff. Not about drinking and driving, but about people in the back seat. So much so that Maybach includes wine glasses that like fold out, and you just, I'm sure it's like it's James Bond type stuff,
I think Rolls-Royce they had a champagne fridge in this.
There you go.
Behind the.
You gotta like that. The Europeans are all hung up on this stuff. All right, let me get out of this. That's a nice car, very fancy. See if I can get back to where I was. All right. Here's.
Supposed to be really, really heavy though.
I'm sure they're.
They weigh like 10 tons.
I don't know. I'm not sure about that, but I'm sure they're very heavy. Most Mercedes are pretty heavy. This is the S Class. This is the other car. This is the. They only have two cars right now. The S Class is a sedan, and you can see it has a lot of the same luxuries on the inside. Scroll
down. These photos. It looks like it's on some sort of giant grass and concrete island.
Yeah. This looks nice. I like this darker color one here in the red. I wanted to show you the back seat of this one, but I can't find the expressive aesthetic. You gotta use words like that. No, I can't find it. Oh, here we go. Now there's the driver's seat, at least. It's like a space shuttle. There we go. There we go. So on the back of your seat here, see, that's what you would see on the screen. Phone and radio and all that. And then in the front, here we go. Nope. You can see the back seat's the same as the other car. It's got these seats that lean back. Yeah, you can't lean back in the front seat. Here we go. Here's the front seat, though. You can see it's got navigation. It's got radio. You have your phone. And it's got two thermostats in the front seat, so the driver and the passenger can have two different temperatures going. I don't think it offers that in the back seat, but yeah, that isn't burning extra fuel, of course. But I don't know. That's pretty fancy stuff. The kind of stuff I will never have. There you go. Put stuff in a pocket. Look at these fancy seats. Got the Maybach logo on the headrest.
Would you buy one of these once you sold Bigfoot?
No, I'd be too nervous to drive a car like this. It's just like, it's just too much to. But look at that. I think I could sleep back here. If I had a car like this, I would live in the back seat. If I owned one, I'd have to have it be my home and my car.
Would you buy like a really nice car if you killed if you got sold Bigfoot?
No. Maybe one of those Mercedes SUVs. I kind of like those.
What would you do if like the majority
Of course, I'd give it all to charity. What are you talking about? Yeah.
Sunglasses. No.
Yeah, those are expensive too. Yeah, I give it to Cash Home. Come on. All right.
Is he going to save Ice Bear?
Well, he needs help. That's for sure. Okay, let me show you, just so you have an idea. Those two Maybach I showed you are maybe not as expensive as you think, but I don't know what you think. They're about 170,000. That's the base price. So I'm not sure how high up they go, but just so you know, there are cars that are much more expensive. And one of them is a Maybach, actually. I know you want to know. Here's a Ferrari, $1.4 million Ferrari. This has 950 horsepower. Whew. Pretty car, though, huh?
What is horsepower exactly?
Yeah, well,
horsepower was invented by James Watt, who modified the steam engine. It's supposed to be equivalent to, I think, the power generated by a Shetland pony.
Shetland pony,
Which doesn't make any sense because it's not a horse, but like the normal horse for industry at that time was the Shire horse, which is actually 8 horsepower. So really, it's like the whole thing could be measured in 16ths or something.
huh? Either way, 600 to 900 horsepower is a lot. But here's a Pagani. Pagani was, yeah, someone else told me this morning how to say it. Pagani was some engineers from Ferrari that broke off and started their own car company. A lot of these car companies, you're going to see cars from, they're expensive, like Pagani is one of them, McLaren. They pretty much, they may have a dealership somewhere, I don't know, but their cars are like custom made. Like they don't overproduce cars. They take orders, they make a car, and some of these like Pagani may only make 20 cars a year. I mean, they're handmade cars. They're not on the assembly line, things like that. But so some of them, and Pagani, I'm not totally sure, but I think it's a small enough company but that's their car, 1.4 million. Aston Martin is a bigger company. That's a British company, also 1.4 million. This Aston Martin 177, but it gets higher than that. Here's another company, Zenvo. Look at that, 1.6 million. That's with 1,177 horsepower. This one is a brand, Koenigsegg, which they have a few cars in this list. 2 million. That's a nice looking car, though, isn't it? Could you get used to that? Maybe? Ah, come on.
It looks like it's been squished by a bunch of cats on both sides.
It does look a little crunched. Here's a car called a Hennessy, 2.1 million.
Hennessy's are made down in Texas.
No, I didn't know that. Here's another Ferrari, Aperta, 2.2 million. Here's a McLaren, the Speedtails. I think it's a nice looking car, but it's odd shaped though. It's long. It's got a short hood, longer trunk, 2.2 million.
Yeah. The driving position in the center, I think.
Yeah, it's kind of futuristic looking, I think. This one I'd never heard of until today. Pininfarina Battista. Sharp looking car.
Yeah, Pininfarina is an old Italian design house.
Okay, so that's 2.5. Here's a Ferrari F60, 2.5. It's a nice looking car. I mean, I'd be okay with that. Mercedes AMG Project 1, 2.7 million. I don't think they have that one inside the dealership. Here's another Koenigsegg Jesko, 2.8 million. I like this. I never heard of this brand till today, but I like it. And the one that I have seen, the Bugatti, because there's also a Bugatti dealership in Berlin. And this one's $3 million.
That car can do 0 to 300 kilometers an hour in 7 seconds.
8-liter, 1,479 horsepower. Yeah, this is a track-only special offered and very limited production car. I've seen Bugatti. I haven't seen this model. I'll show you the model I have seen. But another Aston Martin. I like this, the Valkyrie, 3.2 million. And here's the Bugatti one that I have seen, but it wasn't the Pure Sport. It was the Chiron. Sorry. It's more 3.3 million. How much you say?
I think it's the fastest car so far, like 215 miles per hour.
Well, it's got 1,500 horsepower, so it's going to go as fast as you need it to. It's going to get you where you need to go in Tulsa quickly. This is the other one I saw. This wait, is it the same? Veyron is the more common one, I think, as far as this goes.
It's really fast, but it's not like it's smooth. I think I don't know how that.
254 miles per hour.
It's not very economic.
In Berlin, at the dealership, they have a Bugatti Veyron, and is it Veyron or Veyron? Veyron, and I knew how much it cost. I knew it was over 3 million. And they have one of these and you can walk right into the dealership. They only have 2 cars in there. And it's weird to stand next to them because it's not that big of a thing, actually. I mean, you could easily fit 3 of them in this room here. I mean, I mean, you get to the door. They're not, they're low to the ground. You're kind of tower over it when you're standing up, To stand next to them, it costs $3.4 million. It's not all that big. I mean, you can't see all the mechanics and everything, but it's hard to believe it's worth that much money. But hey, it's worth whatever people pay for it. So 3.4 million. Here's W Motors Lycan. I think Lycan's the company though, right? Hypersport. I think that's the name of the manufacturer. 3.4. Here's another Pagani. 3.5. I like that's kind of cool looking. And Lamborghini enters the race. 3.6. That's pretty sharp looking. And then Bugatti. This is maybe the one you were talking about though.
Yeah.
Super Sport 300 mile per hour barrier, or that's max, I guess. That's a pretty nice looking car. I don't know where you would drive it. I'd be so nervous to drive it. Lamborghini 4.5 million. Another Koenigsegg one 4.8 with these is that called gold wing doors? No.
Those are scissor doors.
Scissor doors. Gold wing opens out like this. Yeah. Okay. 4.8. Here's the Bugatti, 5.8 million. If you have some extra money to throw around, let me know. And then up here, kids, is another Maybach. Here it is in front of the Brandenburg Gate, right? $8 million. And this Maybach 2-door can be yours. Just 8 million. Of course, I think mostly all these are V12, but doesn't have big horsepower, 690. That's an awful lot of horsepower. 218 miles per hour, 9 million. And then there's the Bugatti there above that, also not above, but 9 million. It goes on. 12.5 million for this one here. Another Bugatti. You can spend whatever you want. There's a Rolls Royce, 12.8 million. Another Pagani, 17.5 million. Well, there you go. There's the list right there.
Expensive ever sold was I think it was a 1963 Ferrari 250 GTO short wheelbase.
Is it 44 million or something?
I think it's 52 million.
52.
And that car was actually pulled out of the welding school at Texas A&M University.
Really?
It was their welding template.
Huh.
Yeah.
And
it was a $52 million Ferrari.
Well, I'm glad they figured that out.
For like 40 years, and somebody found out where it was and restored it over like 20 years or something.
Wow. Well, I was going to say that the Maybach dealership area on the top floor of where we started, when you get up there, there's nothing to let you know. I never saw a sign that said, "Oh, Maybach" on the 4th floor. But when I got up there, I saw, and there were 2 people in there. And there were 2 cars inside this. And I thought, well, everything else is so wide open and fun here. Like, I'll just walk in and go look at a Maybach. And the door's locked. When I tried to open it, the salesman didn't even turn around and look to see who it was. You can only see those cars by appointment. And so they know that you're not their appointment, I guess. Maybe I was dressed kind of shabbily too. I don't know. I didn't look like a billionaire or anything. Whereas the rest of the place is wide open. You can go in there and just wander around and have fun. But the Maybach area was strictly business though, so. All right. Good deal. I should add some Maybach pictures to this slideshow. Okay, so what are you going to get for me? I'll take any of the ones in this list right here. Even the 1.4 million Ferrari. I'm not, I don't need the Pagani 17.5 million. But there's a song, that, the rock group, Rush. You know the group Rush? That really upsets me that nobody knows what I'm talking about right now. Let me just have a moment if you don't mind.
We know Ice Bear, but we don't Rush.
Rush? Really? Neil Peart, one of the best rock and roll drummers of all time. All right. They have a song called Red Barchetta, and this is that last car I showed you. The 17.5 million one. It's not a red Barchetta, it's a blue Barchetta. But it's a song about this car, though. I don't know the impetus for the song, but apparently the singer or the songwriter